Hey everybody, my name is Ray, and I'm going to talk about my ACLR recovery journey. To start off, I injured myself. I took a tumbling class, and we had to jump across a floor and do 360 spins and 720 spins. And as I was doing the 720 spin, I had this great idea. Why not just yeet myself into existence? And I spun 3 times and landed on my right knee. I landed on my right foot, and I sank into the spring floor, and I just felt my legs snap like a chicken wing. It felt like it went at a right angle, and it was the worst feeling I had in my life. I thought I lost my leg, honestly. But afterwards, it was just swollen, and I did hear a pop. And then when I went to sit down, I live in Los Angeles, California. This girl said, "Oh, do you want some Reiki healing?" And 2 days later, and an MRI later, the Reiki healing did not help, and I had a fully grade 3 ruptured ACL. So it's my first time vlogging and talking to a camera by myself, so I feel a little crazy. So I'm like gonna start and stop the video as I go. But basically, after I got the injury, I found out I had a grade 1/2 MCL tear and a grade 3 ACL tear. I studied a master's in data science, so I look at a lot of statistics, and I am a slight hypochondriac, so I started Googling, am I going to be able to dance again? Is my MCL going to be okay? So your knee is made up of 4 joints, or ligaments rather, and your MCL has really good blood supply, and that should normally heal naturally. But there's a lot of studies that said if you have an ACL and MCL injury at the same time, they try to just replace both. My doctor went with the more conservative method, so I didn't replace my MCL. It took me about 2 weeks, maybe a week for swelling to go down, and then I started doing a lot of prehab. I rented the Peloton for $90 a month, and I was doing a lot of stationary bike. And from there, I think around month 3, I started to heal up faster. My MCL started to tighten up. So it wasn't until that third month that happened. And actually, I was supposed to get surgery in the 2nd month, and that didn't happen, which was actually a huge downer on my mental health, because I used to be very, very active before. I would be weightlifting and dancing multiple times a week. But I did try to look at it in a more positive light. I looked at it as a way to work on my body parts where I was overcompensating and injured. So I've been doing a lot of shoulder and back workouts and hamstring workouts on my left leg because I have some tendonitis on my left leg. But yeah, let's get into it. So, I got my surgery January 19th, 2023. So I'm officially 4 weeks post-op now. And, when you get an injury like this, I'm 30 now. Around 30 is actually the most common age that you get an ACL injury. So it's a really humbling experience when you find out you're just a statistic, the most common statistic for an ACL injury. So yeah, let's get into how I managed to get around my entire apartment, because it was the worst 2 weeks of my life probably. Well, I've had worse, but it was pretty tough for those 2 weeks. All right, hey everybody, I'm gonna show you how I got into my apartment. I'm just gonna show you the stairs because it's the only set of stairs that I climbed, because I stayed in my apartment until I could weight bear again, or I only left one more time to go to the doctor checkup, 10 days post-op, and then after that I started being able to walk, but I'll get into that later. So here you'll see these are the only set of stairs I climbed. And one thing to show you guys is I actually can't really weight bear too well climbing steps still. So if you're having trouble here, everyone proceeds at their own rate. So don't compare yourself to others' healing journey. We all have different athletic backgrounds. But I still like to only step with my left leg up because I don't want to hurt myself I don't really want to do this surgery ever again in my life. All right, everybody, welcome to my crib. I'm just gonna show you just a lowdown of the extremely bachelor life I'm living. But it's a really easy room to navigate in. There's no floors, I just have a bed, and then I got my dining room table area and where I spent the majority of my 10 days. I did not work. I took 10 days of sick leave for the recovery process, and I mainly ate factor meals. So I'm just gonna show you guys how I got around and talk about my initial symptoms and fears. Okay, so basically, anytime I needed to sit down anywhere or get up, I would lift my leg up by the brace. I was icing it quite often as I could. I had 2 really big ice packs, and I was taking Tylenol and Oxy. The doctor wanted me to wean off Oxy after 2 to 3 days, but I'll be honest, it was a lot of pain. It was like this oxycodone-induced fever dream for about 5 to 6 days. And once I weaned myself off, I still had to, I would be careful because I did have night sweats and I couldn't sleep. I had to break up like a quarter of an Oxy or half an Oxy towards the end. And then eventually I could wean myself off. And I started taking Tramadol and Tylenol. And the initial knee pain probably lasted, I want to say 7 to 10 days. It was around 7 days, it started to like really go down. And by 10 days, it was kind of like a dull ache. But the initial 4 days was extremely bad. If you need to take Oxy every 4 hours, I don't blame you. I think I have a pretty good tolerance for pain, but this was a part where I was like, yeah, I should do this. So really, I stayed here, and then whenever I needed to go to the bathroom, it was probably the most excruciating process. I would just play PS5 or watch Netflix. I could not do any side projects. My brain was not an ability to function for maybe, I want to say honestly, a week. Even when I got back to work, I was having a rough time for the first week. So maybe the first 2 to 3 weeks, don't be too hard on yourself. But I had pretty good leg strength before I could do single leg squats, both legs. So I would always kind of just, push myself up, and I could hop around and just get on my crutches. And then from here, I would crutch over to the bathroom, or I would go to the dining room table. And I was cooking factor meals. So they were microwavable. I had friends come over twice during this time. They kind of helped me take out the trash or organize my place. So I really recommend having friends come over to help with anything if you don't have anyone taking care of you. I hate having people taking care of me, so I really appreciate my friends for being there for me. And yeah. Okay, so this isn't really the best video. I feel like there's other videos out there. I just want to talk about my experience and get comfortable talking to the camera. So in the initial phase, besides just the pain, you lose so much muscle in your leg, it's concerning. And when you're in pain, on painkillers, losing muscle, you're going from fit to not fit. For me, I was checking reddit.com/r/ACL and just reading about other people's journeys. And that's kind of motivating because you see other people coming back. For me, I just laid here and I really focused on full extension, which would be pushing my knee down. Even if I couldn't flex my quad, I just focused on pushing my knee down. And it took until 3.5 days that I could actually lift my leg. But there was a very slight lag where basically my leg below my knee, if I like raise it up, it would be like a little bent, and that actually hurts. So I didn't push it too much. I just focused on quad setting. I think by day 5, I could fully lift my leg up, but it took a lot of effort and it was not a pleasant experience. So I just focused on quad setting and I didn't rush myself because I knew eventually it would get back to normal, and I'd rather just not, you know, hurt the recovery process at all. Now, for sleeping, that was a different process. I have this sectional, so I had these pillows that I could prop my leg up on, and I would put my leg up on here and ice it, and I would sleep with the brace on. I did this for about, I want to say, a week, and then I started sleeping without the brace on. I actually don't recommend sleeping without the brace on. I would recommend just being uncomfortable with it, because I remember falling asleep and twitching in my sleep and having waking up to excruciating knee pain. So I would not recommend sleeping without the brace on. Later on, when I went to physical therapy, they joked that that helps me increase my flexion, but I was actually behind on flexion until my 3rd week. And then, yeah, you know, once you get more comfortable with bending your leg, so I have the brace locked right now. I'll unlock it and show you, but I can bend my leg pretty good, like 90 easily. I actually just sleep like this. It's a lot more comfortable. I'm a side sleeper. Sleeping on my back is okay as well. It doesn't really matter too much. Just do whatever's comfortable for you. I wouldn't really freak out too much about the process, because even if something goes wrong, there's nothing you can do about it until you get it checked out. Okay, the fun part, showering. I actually didn't shower. I didn't want to shower for the full 10 days. By day 3.5, sleeping was like just this sweaty, musty, disgusting thing. And I had friends come over, and my friend commented I smelled musty, which I did, and I apologized. So, you know, by day 3.5, I was like, you know what? I gotta shower. And it was not an easy task. So, you know, I put my crutches here, and I would sit down on my toilet, and then I would have my brace on. I never took my brace off for this, because I didn't want to slip and hurt myself. And I have decent single leg balance, so this worked for me. It might not work for you. I put this bag on, and then I would tighten it. Actually, I did take my brace off. I did take my brace off, because it doesn't cover my brace. I had bandaging on at the time. And then I would tape this to my leg to make sure no water got in. And to get in, because I couldn't actually lift my leg up by the brace. I didn't have the brace on. This is why I did it at 3.5 days. This is when my leg could kind of straighten it. I could kind of lift it up. I would sit here, put my leg in, lift my leg, bring it in here, come here, and then I would shower. It was like a very easy, just soap and water. And once that was done, I would kind of just go back down, come out, leg over and back up, towel off, and I have my crutches, and then I would brush my teeth and go cry on my couch or my bed. That's pretty much it. Yeah, so sorry, this video is a little all over the place. The first 4 weeks, I really couldn't think about this, and then I decided later on I wanted to vlog and video edit, so I'm kind of putting this together now. But around after my post-op appointment, he told me I could unlock my brace to 90 degrees flexion, and then he told me I could start weight bearing. So I started to see how much weight I could put on, and I realized I could actually hobble around if I kept my legs straight. So I would be walking around like this, and then I could lower myself down if I needed to sit anywhere. But it was really about 3 weeks that I saw major improvement, and when I started physical therapy, it was pretty easy. And then once week 3 kicked in, they started giving me harder exercises. I was actually behind flexion about 10 degrees, so they really pushed me there. And then the past week, they got my flexion past where they wanted it to be. So I'm gonna try to structure these videos a little better in the future. I'm kind of all over the place right now. That's really a summary of what my life is like, actually. But, you know, we're gonna ignore that part. And so I started doing more exercise at home, more heel slides. By week 3, I was doing a lot better. This past week, leading up to week 4, my knee actually exceeded what they wanted for flexion. And I don't know what everyone's tolerance for pain is. I think mine is pretty high, but he would squeeze my leg and just be like, just a little more. And it feels like your knee is gonna explode. So it doesn't feel good. But then they tell you good job. So it's kind of like what my parents would do to me when I was growing up, when I didn't study. Anyways, so flexion was good, and I would just suggest, I'm able to walk now. Every day gets better. I try to keep positive mindset going into this. I've seen one other dancer get back to good dance shape, so I'm just focused on really healing my body up and making sure my mental health is good. And one thing that I do that I would suggest everyone else do is, I kind of journal about this. So I just talk about I write down what foods to eat that are healthy. I just think of ways to stay productive. I will calculate out what percentage I'm at, which might be the most Asian or nerdy thing I do. But it's really life's like a video game, when you learn skills, you gain experience and your skills level up. It's kind of the same thing when you're recovering from ACL. It's a 6 to 13 month recovery period to get back to sport. I use 6 months as my baseline so that I can make myself feel better. So at 17 days post-op, I wrote I'm 2.5 weeks out of 24 weeks, I'm 10% recovered already. 28 days post-op, I'm 16.7% recovered. So next time I give an update, we'll see what percent I'm at. Thanks for watching. And I don't know, do you just ask people to subscribe? I don't really care if people subscribe. I just want people to feel better about their ACL journey. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it made you feel better. And I hope if you're watching this and then your loved one is recovering from ACL surgery, that they have a smooth and safe recovery. Bye. One thing I did want to talk about though was if you're an active person, how quickly can you get back to working out? For me, it looks like at 2.5 weeks, I did a home workout. So I did back, shoulders, I have a pull-up bar. I saw a video of someone recovering from ACL journey as well, and they started doing pull-ups at day 4. And they also had a meniscus tear. So they were non-weight bearing for about, 4 to 6 weeks. So that was really inspiring to me. It made me feel lazy. I'm not saying you should push yourself, but if you see that and you're like, damn, they can do it, I can do it, that's kind of like the mindset I got going into this. And then I was doom scrolling Instagram one day on Reels, and I just went to the gym in the morning because I was like, I can't be doing this. So, but when I do go to the gym sometimes, if I walk around too much, my knee swells, and then I really relax and I go home and I ice it and I try not to do too much. So, it's not a linear progression. It's like you're gonna go forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. But hopefully every time you're getting better, you're on your way up. So you got this, guys. I'm trying to get this too. It's tough, but we're in this together.